welcome to Going Over Our Freds, the internet's best Fred Olen Ray podcast from Chicago. With me, as always, is Meredith.
And with me is Michael Kennedy.
That's true, you know. And what did we watch today, Meredith?
We watched Zombie Pirates.
Yes, we did. And what can I say except you're welcome?
You know, my husband mentioned like, "Oh, you're gonna do the podcast," and he seemed a little sad that I watched it without him, and I was just like, "You did not miss a thing."
Okay, I have the opposite because I feel like this is found treasure right here. Like this is
Okay.
this is something else.
Yeah,
Uh,
something aside from entertaining. Yes.
Okay, so I want to remind our listeners that this season is all about Fred Olen Ray produced movies. Fred Olen Ray is the only executive producer listed on this movie. I think the only producer listed on this movie, which is not shocking because not a lot of people are throwing money at this. I think
Mhm.
it had a budget of $3,000 at the Spirit Halloween store, maybe.
Okay.
Uh, but and you will see Retro Media is the company of that, and that's Fred Olen Ray's company. Wow.
It was made in, or at least it was put out in 2014.
Yeah, so it is a very modern, very, stylistically modern, very just amazing, amazing movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, Zombie Pirates. How do we start here?
Oh my God. I'm going to say something. And at first, it's going to sound kind of embarrassing. Like, how could you not clock that? But I also want to mention I started watching Baby Driver last night.
Okay.
And before anything was really like said or any signs were on the screen, I took a look at it and I was like, oh, I think they're in Atlanta. And they were. In this movie, in Zombie Pirates, they're in some sort of oceanfront town. And by the time they said that they were in Louisiana, I was like, no way. They are not in Louisiana. They're
No,
nowhere near New Orleans.
they're in Biloxi. That's where
I
it
doubt
was filmed
it.
in Biloxi, Mississippi.
No.
That's
It
that.
was not giving Gulf at all.
I mean, have you been to Biloxi?
I've been to the Gulf recently, last week.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
It has a different vibe. The vibe here, I guess the vibe in Biloxi is New England. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, nobody was eating sugar on snow or,
There just
saying
wasn't
wicked.
any vibe. No
Uh,
vibe. Okay, well, whatever. We're in an oceanfront town. Biloxi is standing in for this town. There is an ominous lighthouse, which I thought would be ominous,
you thought it would
but
be something.
I thought it would be something. It was nothing. Lighthouses, by the way, are super cool. I was in one in Pensacola.
Yeah, I mean, Fred Olen Ray likes lighthouses. I don't know if this is his influence or not, because he said he always wanted to film a movie in a lighthouse, and then he did, and we watched it.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was his ripoff of Rebecca, Deadly Shores. That
Yes.
was that one. But I think the lighthouse is also important here because our director slash writer here was trying to make the poorest man's version of the fog. And I believe like a lighthouse, I think it's a radio station and a lighthouse in that is a very important part of the movie. So
Great. Okay. Lighthouse.
lighthouse.
And then we start following a very upset blonde woman. Her name is Linda.
I did not catch her name at all in this movie. They say her last name in one scene later on, and I was like, her name is Linda? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching with subtitles because I watched it on the Roku channel and the commercials are like very, very loud and the movie itself is like very, very soft.
Yeah, and the Roku channel also likes to throw a commercial at you every 3.5 minutes.
Right.
So
Yeah. So I was just like, I wasn't quick enough with the remote and I was like, okay, let me just anyway, so her name is Linda.
uh-huh.
Okay. And Linda has this Instagram filter, the vignette filter, where it's all dark around the corners of the image.
I was gonna say that. I was like, what's that? Because every time that happens in a movie, I'm like, it's not portrait. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, it is the vignette filter. Yeah.
And I thought that meant something, but it doesn't. The entire
Nope.
movie is in that filter.
This is the ultimate movie of I thought that meant something. I thought that would be important, but it wasn't, and it doesn't, and it didn't.
Yeah.
our Linda here is an actor named Sarah French who has like 95 credits to her name, but
Really?
nothing, yeah, but nothing you've ever heard of. The only thing I looked through her entire IMDb,
Yeah.
and the only thing that I was vaguely familiar with is she is in a uh, it's not even a movie. It's it's a thing called Slasher Size,
Okay.
which is a like 45-hour long exercise video that also has a slasher villain subplot to it.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
and like Joe Bob and Darcy make small appearances in. I think Darcy does. I know Joe Bob does. And Felissa Rose is in it, who of course everyone knows as the mangled dick expert star of Sleepaway Camp.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's just this weird kind of thing that I'm vaguely familiar with, but everything else is just stuff like this and like Tale of the Shrieking Sasquatch or nonsense like that.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Amazing. We're following her home. She's driving. She's got a gun. She's upset. She gets home. She has a gunshot wound in her right shoulder,
Uh-huh.
treats it herself, acts like she's in a lot of pain. Obviously, she's got a gunshot wound.
That's gonna be really important later. She's gonna have to hide that from everybody, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna they're definitely gonna remember every scene that she's got a gunshot wound, right?
Right. hmm And we are clued to that fact that she's going to be absolutely consistent with the wound when she then puts on sexy lingerie
Mhm.
with no apparent discomfort to her shoulder.
Yeah, so she takes off her clothes,
Uh-huh.
lets her boobs out for a second, which is the only boobs we get in the movie.
hmm
Then puts on sexy lingerie to go to bed.
Yeah, so I figured she'd had somebody was going to come over,
This is just what women wear to bed. Like they don't wear, pajamas or yoga pants and a t-shirt or a
or like
tank top.
nothing because
Yeah.
it hurts so much to move your shoulder, and you apparently live alone, so it's no big deal.
Yeah, no, but no, you gotta wear weird negligee to bed all the time.
Yes, as you do. Yes, this is accurate women craft. I can verify.
This is the scene that has the most Fred Olen Ray influence, I would imagine.
All right, so she's lounging sexily on bed and calls her friend Karen and crafts an alibi for the evening. She's like, "We were together, we were playing cards, blah, blah, blah. I'm calling in a favor. You owe me. You're my alibi." Like, okay,
So
okay.
this movie already passes the Bechdel test, so it's woke.
I didn't even think about that. Yes. Okay, so we're already on to the next day. She emerges from her bedroom fully dressed in clothes that you definitely need both shoulder mobility to get into.
So as someone who has spent the better part of the last 10 years having frozen shoulder in one of my shoulders,
Mhm.
I can tell you, I had to figure out how to put on and take off a t-shirt. It got so bad at one point.
Yeah,
And if you ever do have extreme limited motion in your shoulder, the best way to take off a t-shirt, John Cena style. Watch how John Cena takes off a t-shirt in one motion. It's the best way to do it. You can do it with your one good arm.
amazing.
Always be like John Cena.
I'm sure that's what Linda was doing off screen,
I know I mean, we couldn't see her, therefore she
right?
did it like John Cena.
I correct.
No,
100%. All right, so she reversed John Cena her way into a t-shirt.
exactly.
And there's a man in her sitting at her dining room table.
Not just any man, it's Colonel Sanders.
Yes.
It's the most Colonel Sanders looking motherfucker you've ever seen in your life. Now, in
Yeah.
the opening
Yeah.
credits, this guy gets the and credit, like he's going to
Hmm.
be somebody famous. And
hmm
this man is named JC Penny Legion, and he has two IMDb credits, this and something else. So he is not a famous person.
I thought he was one of the better actors in the movie.
I mean, he is very community theater.
hmm
Okay, being one of the better actors in the movie. There's like three actors in this movie.
He was one of the better ones. Yes.
Yeah, so he shows up.
And this man says, "I am an associate of the man you robbed and killed last night." So he sounds pretentious, maybe not exactly the way I said it.
Yeah, no, and he is like a pretentious sounding asshole, and he says a lot of things like, "I believe it's called Like he
Right,
uses
right.
that like 3 times in the first like 5 minutes we see him.
Yeah. Yep. He would be the guy to correct your usage of fewer versus less.
Oh, actually, you mean whom?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so this guy shows up at her house because he was so she robbed and killed somebody
Hmm.
last night, which is why she needs the alibi.
Hmm.
And he came there because he was going to get a book from that guy,
Yeah.
saw the security footage, and decided to use the security footage to blackmail the lady he saw on
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
How did he know who she was and where she lived?
We figure out later, or are given some clues later, she wasn't super careful about driving her own car to and from.
Oh, yeah, so the detective saw her car go there and out,
Right.
right?
So I would assume that this guy having access to the security footage on site also probably had access to other cameras and could find her car and therefore find her.
Find the license plate and then
Hmm.
have access to, you know, that $50 private eye site.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this cursed book is worth it to him to pay that $50
Yeah.
fee.
Yeah, so he shows up and he's like trying to blackmail her, but also just asking for coffee. He's like, "Where's my coffee?" And like it's attempting to do
Mhm.
something, but it's not really doing it. But the strange thing is, even though she just got up, there is a pot of coffee made.
Yeah.
Like maybe she set it up the night before and put it on a timer,
That's
but
not a fancy coffee maker. It's not a kind of coffee
I
maker that has a timer.
it was just it's like okay, that it was very odd.
Yeah.
And then eventually he successfully blackmails her, maybe? I don't know. She goes to get dressed in different clothes, but he gets up, awkwardly balances his cane on the table. Like he never knows what to do with the cane, so
Mhm.
clearly it's just a prop or an affectation. Like
Mhm.
he did not practice with it at all.
Mhm.
Then he goes up and pours himself a cup of coffee, but it looks like he pours himself about 2 teaspoons worth of coffee before he's like, good coffee.
That's so dumb. It's not good coffee. It's drip coffee. Strip
Whoa,
coffee is probably like
whoa.
she bought the grounds already ground from the grocery store and it's probably been sitting in her cabinet for months before some guy broke into her house, made the pot of coffee, grabbed a teacup and saucer and sat down at her table and said, "Pour me coffee."
Listen, pre-ground drip coffee is perfectly cromulent coffee, you snob, okay? It's not instant coffee. Oh, Meredith only drinks pour over or French press coffee. Drip coffee is great, especially if you get a bag of pre-ground Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts.
Mhm,
Come on
mhm.
now. Come on now.
I would never do pour over. That is obviously pretentious. I do French press and I grind my own beans
Oh, it's got to be French.
because it's cheaper and a lot of the grocery stores have taken out their grinders.
Yeah, well, I've got my own coffee grinder too, but I usually only do it for espresso if I'm doing it in a mocha pot.
Oh,
So,
that's nice. Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. Coffee
yeah,
talk
coffee
concluded.
talk. Yeah.
So here's a little bit about the book and why it's valuable to this guy. What did you call him? Colonel Sanders?
I mean, he looks like Colonel
Right.
Sanders. He's like, yeah,
Okay. So Colonel Sanders delivers the exposition. The book is a journal that was written by a medium who had been communicating with a long dead pirate ghost.
I believe they call that automatic writing.
Yes. And it outlines a get rich quick via pirate curse scheme.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So,
It's a multi-level marketing ghost scheme.
yeah. Yeah, yes, yes. All right. So Colonel Sanders wants to hire Linda to follow the directions in the book, which he calls like complete the ritual and deliver 5 bodies to the pirates on 5 consecutive nights in exchange for pirate booty. And Linda doesn't want to do it. Uh, she's been shot in the shoulder, but also she doesn't know this guy. So she says no, and then he pokes her in the shoulder with his cane. So then she says yes.
Yeah, it's so she takes it under duress.
Mm-hmm.
Uh so Colonel Sanders is like, now there are very important and intricate rules here. And I've thought, oh, it's gonna be like a Gremlins like scenario. And she's gonna mess it up. But the entire time it's just like, okay, we'll kill a body and dump it at midnight. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, that's not really a complicated set of rules. And she doesn't.
5 consecutive nights. Have you ever like? It's so hard to create a habit out of nothing, Michael.
Yeah, you really
Five
have to.
bodies and
You
five.
need 14 days in order to effectively create that habit.
I know. So
It's
it's basically an impossible task.
the the chains of habit are impossible to feel until they're impossible to break. There's some quote like that. I can't
Oh,
remember, but
look it up. That sounds cool.
yeah, yeah, it's on my
Okay.
BlueSky from a year and a half ago. So make sure you look. You just scroll through it. Scroll through it.
Brilliant. Okay, we'll do. We'll do. All right.
Oh,
So
oh,
yeah.
no, no, no. So he leaves her alone and he's like, if you change your mind, come to my hotel room,
Mhm.
428, and then leaves. And he's like, but what hotel? Maybe there's only one hotel in town, but he's like, all he says is hotel room 428.
Mhm.
And then she goes to the hotel room 428, and they just continue basically the same scene.
Yes.
At this point, I noticed because they're just shooting in a regular hotel room, probably just
Yeah.
not even telling the staff.
Right.
Every scene in this movie looks like TMZ footage. It looks like, oh, we have this footage of
I,
somebody, like a senator, doing cocaine in this hotel room.
yeah. 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 In the hotel room is where we get the pirate backstory. Let me tell you, this pirate backstory is the most entertaining part of the movie.
I mean, we get to learn about the Battle of New Orleans and the War
Mhm.
of 1812.
I paused
And
to Wikipedia it. I was like, okay, let me find out about the Battle of New
um,
Orleans. Mhm.
excuse me, madam, we went to the Hermitage together and read all about the pirates helping out in the Battle of New Orleans in the War of 1812, including Lafitte, straight from the monster Andrew Jackson's home itself. So this is probably COVID fog hitting you because I remember every detail intimately. So
I'm sure it is. Yes. Okay. Here's the pirate backstory. Lafitte, a pirate, and Lassard, a different pirate, both fought in the Battle of New Orleans in exchange for a government pardon. Lafitte got his pardon, but Lassard did not. During the Battle of New Orleans, which, for the historically ignorant like myself, was in 1815,
after
the
the war ended,
yeah,
yeah,
the people of New Orleans needed Lassard because he and his crew were strong and they're fighting the British. They needed Lassard on their side, but after the battle was won, the people turned on him and fired a cannon from shore. They fired a cannon at Lassard's ship and sunk it off the shore of New Orleans. The reasons that they hated him is because he was a known torturer, and they say that he was in league with the devil and his crew was cannibals.
yeah, yeah.
So the curse in the book that was written by the medium is related to this cannibal crew of pirates. I don't really understand what the curse is.
No, but
Go
at
ahead.
least it is a very boring 5 minute monologue without a two shot. So we're just constantly getting a close up of him and then a
Yeah.
close up of Linda. It is just completely lifeless, and I love
Yes.
it. I love
Yeah,
it so
yeah,
much.
absolutely. All right, so they need 5 bodies, 5 consecutive nights, delivered at midnight each night. Once the ritual is started, it must be completed. So those are the rules, very easy to understand. And now
Uh,
we start doing it.
I believe the expression is murder. No, that isn't one.
Murder. So later that night, Linda begins the ritual by drawing a symbol on her mirror in red lipstick. And that symbol looks to me like the Sailor Jupiter symbol from Sailor Moon.
I never really watched
Oh,
Sailor
okay. Well,
Moon,
it's like the number four.
even though that cartoon has the boom anime babes that made me think the wrong thing. So yeah, it's the number four with like a question mark underneath it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But she practices it in the mirror on lipstick a couple of
Oh,
times.
I thought that was the beginning of the ritual instead of the practice. Why would you
I
practice on a mirror?
Maybe that was the beginning of the ritual. I don't know.
It wasn't defined. So,
I also don't know why it's 5 and why it's midnight or why it's
right.
murder or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Then we just have to fill. And also, we don't really know anything about Linda's motivation or backstory other than she's being blackmailed. We don't know if she's a good person or a bad person. Why did she kill that guy and take his money? Was it just we don't know. We don't
But
know anything.
she is clearly not a good person. Like,
Well,
I also, okay, I would also like to
we
say
just don't
that
know. Yeah.
this movie, is Shakespearean in scope, not in the drama therein, but in the fact that we never actually see interesting things. We just hear about them afterward. Like
Okay.
instead
Yeah.
of instead of starting with a burglary scene that goes wrong and she gets shot and like
Yeah.
has to murder somebody, it starts with a phone conversation where she has gives her friends an alibi, and then Colonel Sanders kind of half-ass explaining what happened the night before. This is a visual medium. Come on. I mean, granted, this is the cheaper way to do this, and this movie had no budget. I mean, that had a budget for one hotel room and a bunch of
Mhm.
shots at grandma's house.
Mhm.
But that's about it. Like,
Yeah.
this is clearly grandma's house too, right?
Yeah.
Linda's apartment or home or whatever the fuck
It's
it
a
is.
home. It's a one-story home that
Yeah.
is brick. So I guess, if you have a one-story home on the ground near the shore in New Orleans
Or Biloxi, Mississippi.
or Biloxi, Mississippi. Okay, anyway, so she needs a victim and she picks up this guy from Mount Olive, Illinois.
Yeah, so that is an actor we've actually seen before.
Have we?
When we picked that movie 2 seasons ago, based on somebody on BlueSky telling me to pick this movie, I didn't realize that it was going to be the keystone of this entire podcast. But sure enough, the first victim played Ernie in Direwolf,
Oh my God.
who,
Amazing.
if you don't remember, and why would you, I believe he played the fishermen
Mhm.
who are the blonde lady who's running from the dire wolf for half the movie runs
Mhm.
into the fisherman, says, "Hey, there's a dire wolf," and he's like, "What are you talking about?" And then the dire wolf sneaks up behind him and bites his hand and then pulls it off with his mouth, and he goes, "Ah!" and dies. That actor, he only has a few credits, but he actually is from Mount Olive, Illinois, so he did not have to.
Wow.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite bits of the movie too. So Linda's there, and she says, "I can't remember where you said you were from," and he says, "Oh, I'm from a small place of only a couple thousand people called Mount Olive, Illinois." And they sit in silence for like 30 seconds, and then she's like, "Ah, I guess we should get started then." Like, is he a John now, or is this a date? Is this like a sex working thing? Like, what's happening here?
I would also like to know. At first, I was under the impression that her writing the symbol on the mirror kind of like attracted or drew a likely victim to her, like a moth to the flame. But that was not what happened.
Yeah,
She
no,
just picked him up.
she just walks outside, sees him on a bench, and then
Mhm.
then uh they walk into her house,
Yeah.
and after they're like already a couple of steps into her house, she's like, "Come on in." It's
Yeah.
real alien stuff here, guys.
Yeah,
Real
totally. Yeah.
space
And
aliens going on.
okay, just I'll mention this once, not again. Everybody's wearing shoes inside that home on the light colored carpet. Just saying.
Yeah, well,
That's all I'm saying.
that
Okay.
is disrespectful to grandma who owns that house.
Absolutely.
This is how important this is. I don't even remember how she murders this first guy.
Oh, she takes a cast iron skillet
Oh, is this
in
cast iron
her
skillet?
right
Okay.
hand and
The
one hand only bashes him on the head a couple of times to kill him.
Now I have used a cast iron skillet, the same one, for 25 years.
Yes.
It is you cannot wield that very easily with one hand, especially
Yeah.
if you just got shot in that shoulder.
Yeah. Have you wielded your cast iron pan with your left hand only while your frozen shoulder was actively frozen?
Yes, but I am very strong. Yeah, so she murders him with that, and then we
Mhm.
start one of my favorite bits of this movie. She wraps him in some sheets where
Mhm.
she has an infinite amount of white sheets,
Yeah.
and we follow her as she drags him the entire way down a dock. It
Onto a
loads him
boat.
into the boat
Yep.
and like dumps him in the ocean. We see the same bit for almost every murder
Yeah.
in like painstaking detail, and I love it so much
Why?
because
It should have been a
okay,
montage.
no, because this is. Do you remember Zat, also known as the Blood Waters of Dr. Z? This
No.
movie has such Zat energy.
Okay.
Zat is this movie. It was on Mystery Science Theater. It was on
Mhm.
Best of the Worst. It's been on a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
but it was a monster movie made by a company that made industrials, which, like how-to videos in like the 60s.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And none of them knew how to shoot a horror movie. So it was all done in these flat, wide shots, and we would just see Zat walking around. So okay, so it's a Nazi doctor who wants to turn people into catfish, and he turns himself into a catfish, and it's just the silliest rubber suit.
Sure.
And occasionally, if you see the unmatted version, he's just wearing sneakers. But every time Zach goes out for a kill, you see him take the same walk back to his laboratory, slowly walking up to the door, opening the door, coming on in. It's just so mundane and ridiculous. And you reach this point both in this movie and in Zat. So a lot of people will use that phrase "so bad it's good," which I think it gives me pause a little bit, because people will say that about things like Rocky Horror and things that aren't that bad
Mhm.
and are just kind of good or are intentionally this way or that way. But with Zat and with Zombie Pirates, we have achieved something where this movie is so boring, it becomes fascinating again. It's amazing. I love this. This is amazing.
I'm really glad that you found it fascinating. I had the opposite experience.
Oh, you were bored by the boring thing? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes. I had to pause it several times and go do something else. It was an experience. All right. Okay. So she drives her boat all the way out in the ocean for a very long time, and a painfully long time, a amount of time that we did not need to ride along with her.
Yep,
Tosses the
that's
body overboard
that's that
when,
Zen energy.
yeah, Zan energy or Zat energy.
Zacked. Two A's.
And she's got like this like palm sized stopwatch type of thing for no reason. And that's what she uses to determine, hey, is it midnight? So at the stroke of midnight, she drops the body,
Was she
and
supposed to use her cell phone?
she has a cell phone.
Yes.
Okay, whatever. And nothing really happens. So she kind of looks around, like, oh, and then goes back home. When she gets back home, somebody like pounds at her front door. Nobody's at the front door, but she has therefore like let the ghost pirate in, and she is freaked out. She is afraid of this zombie, gross, gnarly looking, like really awesome kind of skeletized Jack Sparrow type of situation.
Yeah, it is the nice costume from the Spirit Halloween store.
Yeah, yeah. He looked good. And then he hands her a pouch, and inside the pouch are like a bunch of silver coins.
I okay, so this pouch is pretty much what you'd get if you bought some earrings at Macy's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just like a little black pouch with a string on it. It looks
Mhm.
brand new. Not really something a zombie pirate should be carrying, but that's part of the charm of this movie is just like, what do we have? You
Yeah.
know, even though this is ostensibly a horror movie about ghosts and pirates and zombies and stuff like that,
Mhm.
pretty much all of these scenes are just shot at grandma's house with like fluorescent style lighting
Yeah.
that is super bright. And I was so distracted at one point, I was just like, oh, look, they've got those nipple lights on the ceiling. Okay. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
solid middle class right there.
Our next scene is possibly the best one of the entire movie.
Is it the bikini scene?
No.
Oh.
All right. It's just before the bikini scene.
Okay, okay.
We see the zombie pirates in their ship, in the submerged ship, cutting into and feasting on the dead body of the man from Mount Olive.
Yeah, now are we supposed to think that they're underwater? Are they in the ghost realm? Because it doesn't look like it's underwater. It's just a bunch of people in Spirit Halloween costumes noshing on some body parts. They cut to this scene a couple of times, and it's all pretty much the same. They're all just eating the different victims.
Yes.
But the best one, and I don't think it's the first one, but one time we do see a zombie parrot
Yes, we
as
do. Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
So highlight of those scenes right there. But other than that, these things are just completely pointless to see more than once.
Yes. Yes,
So
that's true. Okay, now we get to the bikini scene.
okay. So for no reason, our protagonist walks out of her house wearing a bikini. Was she shot in the shoulder recently? Yes. She's got the world's tiniest band-aid covering up her right arm, so
Yeah.
don't worry, she's fine. She's carrying out one of those the long folding chairs, like a chaise
Hmm.
lounge style folding chair, like Snoopy has, Snoopy fights with. And then
Great.
she, yeah, so she doesn't fight with the chair like Snoopy, which is missed opportunity, I think. So she carries this folding chair down to the dock, sets it up, lays on it. End of scene. We're back to her house. She's fully clothed.
Yes.
It was so great. Like, this is nothing.
Why was it great? Why was it great?
I like, just like, oh, we need a scene where she's in a bikini. Okay, let's have a scene where she's in a bikini.
And
What does
does
she do?
nothing for the
It
plot.
does less than nothing. It actively hurts the plot.
Yes.
It stops the movie for no reason. It really minimizes the fact that she's injured.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is a detriment to everything, and I love it so much. Like when they did that hard cut back to her fully clothed in her house, I could not stop laughing.
All right, well, back at her house, we've got a new character, and his name is Detective Nofsky.
Oh, Detective Nopke, this guy has got severe. Your friend is dating this guy, and you're not sure why energy.
Yeah, yep. So
Like, I
he's
guess.
hunting around. He's got questions. He has security footage of a car that matches her descriptions and a partial plate. So he's like, "Hey, I think you're the killer." And she's like, "How dare you think I'm the killer?" But not in those words.
Is this the point where he says your dead boyfriend is a safecracker? Like I
No,
miss.
that's later. But I mean,
Okay,
every time he appears, it's the same song and dance. He's like, I'm asking questions that indicate that I think you're the killer. And she is like, how dare you? You've got nothing, blah, blah, blah. Get out of my house that I invited you into for some reason.
yeah, don't invite the cops in. Come
And
on.
it was like nothing. He was just like right in there. Just like
Yeah.
she opens the door and he steps inside.
Yeah, I will say I missed probably I don't know, a portion of this first scene with the police man because I watched like 5 seconds of it and then I was like, wait, she was shot in the shoulder. Was she wearing a band-aid in that bikini scene? So I had to rewind to see like, oh, I guess she does have a bandage on her arm. All right. Is she using that arm to carry the chair? So then I
Right. Yeah.
fast forwarded back and I might have missed a little bit. I was just like, wait, what? Because I had to
Oh
recheck. I
my
was like,
god. Oh yeah,
wait,
important things. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I
yeah.
totally agree. Yeah. 100%. Okay. So we skipped to that night. Spend a an exhaustive amount of time introducing the audience to a tattoo artist. Like, yeah, he does tattoos. He's in a
Yeah.
tattoo shop. Burr, burr, burr. She
They're
kills him and puts him in the ocean.
okay. First off, he does pretty mediocre tattoos. Like, I'm sure this is a
Whatever.
real artist, but like, whatever. It's like, okay, like
Yeah.
this guy agreed to do the movie as a showcase for his tattoo parlor, I'm assuming. I just assume it's a real tattoo guy.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know.
Okay.
I did not look him up. But this is the guy she kills with a butcher knife, right? And
Oh, yeah. You know what? I
she,
was in the other room.
oh my God. So I believe she shows off all of her skills in this, where
Hmm.
she might pick the lock for this
Yeah, I
one,
think that's right. Yeah.
where we get a close up of a doorknob with at least okay, they don't do lock picking well, but at least they've got two things,
Hmm.
which is better than most lock picking scenes where she has a pick and a torque wrench, or
Hmm.
not really a torque wrench, but something to
Yeah,
provide
you
torque.
need two little pieces of metal and get in
I
there,
mean,
wiggle around.
not always you need two things, but yeah, it's easier to use two things.
Hmm.
But then she sneaks up behind the tattoo artist and stabs him through the back of the head, out the mouth, with a butcher knife, which, which
Wow.
uh, she also got super strength when she got shot, I guess, or she has the world's sharpest knife. I mean, I can't even cut through a chicken bone in one go with a knife like that. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, but you've got frozen shoulder. She just has a
Yeah.
gunshot wound.
Yeah. You're telling me you went through the hair, the skin, the skull, the rough leather, the smooth leather, the brain, and the soft palate? Come on, lady.
So we spend less time showing her dragging the body, but not zero
But
time.
not zero time. No, she drags the body down the dock, puts it
Hmm.
in the boat, and then we kind of hard cut to uh hard cut to zombie pirate throwing her coins,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right, next day. The detective is questioning Karen. He's like, I don't think your alibi is solid. I don't think you're on the up and up. Karen's like, you're full of shit. We were playing cards. He's like, show me the cards.
And then
Because,
she has trouble finding the cards, and
and
that
like,
is
and I was just like, was she responding? Was the actress responding to in real time direction of like, open up this drawer? Wait, no, pause. Go to the other drawer. Open that drawer. Wait, no, pause. Go to this third drawer.
well, okay, so also we know that they actually played cards on
Yeah,
one of the nights before that. It's not like they don't, she wouldn't know where the cards were,
right.
or she's just like me, where I don't know if I have cards in there. I move my cards all the time. But then when she does pull out the cards, she pulls out like a cigar box.
Yeah, it wasn't a deck of cards.
It
How
wasn't
hard
a
is it to get a prop deck of cards? Go to the gas station. They're like 50 cents or
go
dollar
to
inflation.
go to the hotel. Most hotels will sell you a deck of cards.
Oh,
You're
there you
already
go.
filming there
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the world's shittiest hotel room.
Right.
Oh,
People
God.
have cards laying around. Just she could have had like a pile of loose cards in the drawer, which is a normal way to carry your cards, and just grabbed a handful and like waved them. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
not matter. I'm just gonna calm down, Bliss. No mattering.
You seem to be bothered by this movie that
Not
is
bothered.
90% a blonde woman meandering.
One thing that happens here is that
Oh, she's
Linda.
broken. This movie has won. This
I
movie
mean,
has
it's
beaten.
something that happened.
It's defeated Meredith in battle.
Linda left a scarf at Linda left a scarf at Karen's, and the detective's like, "Is this Linda's?" And Karen's like, "Yes." And he's like, "I'm taking this." And Karen's like, "Why are you taking it?" And he's like, "I'm taking it." And they're like, "Okay, all right, that's theft, but whatever."
That scarf at Linda's really proved she was there during the night of the murder, too.
So Karen calls Linda and says, "Hey, there's this detective nosing around." So Karen's a good friend, even though she can't figure out her fucking cards. Next scene, Linda visits Colonel Sanders' hotel room to do snooping. He's not in the hotel room. How could she have known that beforehand? She couldn't. She got lucky.
Oh, she doesn't. I thought she killed the Marina guy first.
Oh, did she? Did I even see? Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry. It
Oh,
was
yeah,
half a
okay.
sentence in my notes. I
Well,
skipped
that's
it.
okay. That's because the next kill happens in a montage. So, like, we're just kind of wandering around the dock where we see a guy in the marina
Mhm.
and hard cut to him dead because we don't
Yes,
want to show anything actually interesting in this movie, like,
correct.
an interesting kill or anything like that, because we need more time for her dragging a body on the dock, waiting, going to the boat, slowly untying the boat, loading the body into the boat, and then driving the boat. Every time we see it, and I love it. But the important thing to note here is that Marina Guy
Mhm.
is our director cameo.
Oh,
That is our writer
wow.
director Steve Sessions right there. So
Amazing. So Steve didn't want to be killed on camera.
he does not. He does not want to
Hmm.
be killed on camera, I
Pretty
suppose.
telling, Steve. Okay. Linda's in the hotel room snooping. Colonel Sanders arrives and catches her, and he's like, I'm not supposed to see you until the ritual's done. What are you doing here? Wait, 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 wait. Make me a pot of coffee." Alrighty.
Yeah,
Um,
and then Colonel Sanders does the old look, I have this footage with a lawyer, and if anything happens
mhm,
to me, it will be sent to every press in the world.
mhm.
And Linda's just like, whatever, and kills him anyway.
Yes, so he is the fourth
So he is the
victim.
fourth, and we've got a fake head of his that gets eaten by the zombies,
Yes.
which is a nice thing to have. I mean, I would rather
Mhm.
have it be something, interesting or adding to the plot, but you spent money on a fake head at least. So
Yeah,
there's that.
yeah, that's good. It's interesting.
This might be
Yep.
where the zombie pirate is too. I can't remember. Or not
Zombie
the zombie, the parrot,
parrot. Oh,
the
yeah,
parrot,
yeah,
the
yeah.
zombie pirate parrot,
And was the
parrot pilot.
parrot a cannibal? Are they like supposed to like throw down a
Well,
chicken?
the parrot eats chicken. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Okay,
a
all right,
big
cool,
fan
cool,
of.
cool.
You know what kind of chicken he eats?
What?
Colonel Sanders chicken.
Very nice.
This movie's brilliant. I don't know why you're judging it so harshly.
Okay, next night.
Okay, yeah, so this is our denouement, really. This is the beginning of the third act
Yeah,
because this is the detective shows up at her house again and
yeah,
she lets him in for no reason.
yeah. She opens the door, stands aside,
And
just
this is
he walks right in.
and this is where like he gives uh, the backstory of like your boyfriend was a safe cracker and taught you how to do these
Hmm.
things, even though we haven't seen her crack a safe. We saw
Hmm.
her pick one lock.
Yep.
I believe he refers to safe cracking at some point as robbery, and I'm like, no, safe cracking is not robbery. Robbery is implies th violence or threat of violence or force. Like that is theft. That is not robbery. It's I believe if you listen to the Beatles, they understand the difference with she could steal, but she could not rob. Uh,
Yes.
and
He will not shut up with his line of speech.
yeah,
He loves the sound of his own voice.
but it is very accurate that the cop wouldn't know the law. So
Yes. Well, that's true. Yeah. 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 He's very pompous about it. Okay, so she's starting to stress about time. She takes her pocket watch. That's what it is, not a stopwatch, pocket watch.
yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, time to go." Because it's after like 11 p.m. when he shows up. He's like,
Why is he there so late?
he's like, "I'm sorry, it's so late. I had to return your scarf."
Yeah, at 11 o'clock.
Right?
That
Yeah.
guy's a pervert. He's probably
Yeah.
looking to rape her.
Super dumb.
And then he said, does he say that Colonel Sanders was found dead in his room? Because
I didn't catch that. I also
yeah,
was
because
not listening.
at one point he says motel, and I'm
Mhm.
like, but they've said hotel before. Those are different.
Well,
I'm
and we've been in like we've seen the room. It's a hotel room.
yeah, it's yeah.
Motels are not that like they're not as nice.
And they open like into the street and stuff
Yeah,
too
yeah,
instead
yeah,
of having.
exactly.
So I think the subtext here is that he's a bad police.
Yeah, yeah, he's lying,
He's
and
a
he's
he's one of the bad apples.
yeah, rotten apple. She finally is able to shepherd him to the door. She's like, "Come back with the warrant." She did not actually say, "Come back with the warrant," even though she ought to. But she's shepherding him outside of her home. She holds up her watch, and it's like 11:30, and she's like, "Wait a minute, what time is it?" Because I guess like the time she'd looked at it before it had been the same time. And he looks at a watch or a cell phone. He's like, "It's midnight. Why?" And she's like, "Oh no." Well, actually, I gave a lot
Yeah.
more energy to my inflection there, but
Yeah, that was more energy than we've seen in this movie.
yeah.
Once again,
Hmm.
I thought we weren't going to pay off on Gremlins rules,
Yeah.
but this is how the whole problem starts in Gremlins, is the
Hmm.
clock stops. Uh,
Yeah.
so see, this is a smart movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Brilliant. Yes.
Yeah, so she knows the zombie pirates are gonna come.
Yes.
So the cop and she immediately draw guns on each other. Is that what happens?
Well, somebody knocks at the door,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, "Oh, who's that?" And she's like, "Ah." And so he's put off by that. He's like, "Oh, something's wrong." So she's drawing a gun because I think that she might think she can save the situation if she kills him, but he draws on her as well. He puts her in cuffs and shoves her into a room, I guess maybe her bedroom, in cuffs with like behind her arm, behind her back.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like her shoulder hurts, so it's actually really bad, right? So they spend a long time before she gets put in cuffs
Mhm,
with their guns drawn on each other.
mhm,
And their guns are so close as if one wants to shoot the bullet into the other gun. They're
mhm,
like 2 inches apart.
mhm,
And
mhm.
the entire time I was thinking, mm, oh, and they're both boys. I wanted the guns to kiss, is all I'm saying.
Excellent. Yeah, so that kind of, I mean, this should be a moment that is terrifying and tense, and it's not.
It's not,
It's
no.
not. It's not. Okay, so a zombie pirate slowly enters the house and draws a sword. So the detective shoots it 3 times. The third time appears to hit it in the eyeball and takes it down. So maybe we're playing by headshot rules.
But they're ghosts. zombie
Well, I
pirate
mean,
things.
the name of the movie is Zombie Pirate.
But they're not really zombies, though.
They are eating flesh.
I guess.
There's
Uh,
some sort of curse. I don't know what that. Maybe just the fact that there are zombies is a curse instead of a plague.
yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay, anyway, so one zombie down.
Uh,
I don't know how many zombies there are in total, but there must be a finite amount because it was a crew, a living crew.
yeah, and it's definitely not other actors we've seen in this movie wearing Spirit Halloween masks. My favorite zombie, though, there's like a couple of shots of them like kind of
Mhm,
all together where there's like I think 5 or 6 or something like that.
mhm,
And one of them is wearing black and white horizontal stripes
mhm.
that are just pristine out of the Spirit Halloween bag.
Nice,
Like
nice.
I've never seen a cleaner costume, and it's like, didn't you guys just come from the ocean?
Mhm,
But it
mhm.
is sparkling white. It is yeah,
That's the curse.
they just didn't care.
Yes,
So
yes.
eventually, underwhelming boyfriend cop
Mhm.
gets trapped in the bathroom. Is it the
Something, yeah,
bathroom?
sure.
And they do the scene you see in every like, zombie movie ever where the zombie's pounding on the door
Mhm.
and they do a thing that makes no sense here where the zombie is like turning the doorknob slowly for some reason. It's not like it's locked
Right.
or
Mhm,
and then he opens the door slowly and then
mhm,
sticks his hand in the door as
mhm.
if to be intimidating. But that's like the sort of thing you do when somebody's holding back the door. He's just doing it to be silly. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he's like sticks his hand in slowly and he's like, "Ooh, I'm pretty spooky, huh?" Even though it's a flat, brightly lit shot of just a Spirit Halloween zombie hand in the door. So the cop, like, slams the door and like breaks one of his fingers off.
Mhm, mhm.
And that's the end of that scene, I guess. I don't remember, but just the execution here is amazing. It's 10
Yeah.
out of 10, no notes.
There at some point, the detective is outside of the home and shooting zombies, and then he's going back into the home, and then Linda gets her cuffs in front of her, despite her shoulder,
Yeah.
and picks the lock on the cuffs, so she is now free. And the detective also wants to keep her in custody, and he also wants to shoot the zombies.
He's really
And
torn, yeah.
it's just like, and then eventually, after too many minutes, a zombie stabs him in the gut with its sword,
Yeah.
and he is like shocked. Linda, at this moment, she's trying to tell him like it's a curse, blah blah blah. She does a
And
bad
he's
job of,
like,
yeah,
I know it's a curse, but I still want to arrest you for murder.
yeah. He's like, you're gonna be, subject to justice. And Linda says, like, you know what? You're dying, definitely of sepsis, and I'm leaving. So she slowly, step by step by
Ni-
step,
Niagara Falls.
walks across the room to flee. And so he shoots her in the back and kills her.
Roll credits. Uh, okay. So I have a couple of notes about this last sequence.
Yeah.
First off, when the zombies arrive, there is no change to the score, no
Oh,
change to the
yeah.
lighting,
Yeah. Yeah.
no change to like the camera angles or anything like that. It
Correct. Yeah.
is like it's like the movie doesn't want to acknowledge that there are ghosts in magic happening now. It's just
But
like,
but but
this is very mundane. It
it's
is
hyper real. Evil is
it's
mundane.
it is Zat energy is what I'm saying.
All right.
It's like we are in this grandma's house
Yeah.
for 65% of the movie,
Yeah.
maybe more.
Hmm.
No sense of space of that place. I like they were running from one spot to another. I have no idea where anything is. I don't
Hmm.
know how close the zombies are. I don't know jack and shit the entire time.
Hmm.
Number 15, whatever the fuck point I'm on right now. She's in these handcuffs,
Hmm.
and the handcuffs are put on her so loosely she could just pull her hand out. Like there is like 4 inches of daylight between her wrist and the cuffs. And then she bothers to pick the second handcuff lock after she's gotten the first one off.
Hmm.
Okay, which at least I will say handcuff locks depending on how you put them on, are very easy to pick. There's actually it's a double locking system where if you only lock the first one, you can undo it very easily, but you have to turn it one way and then the other to actually lock it on. It keeps them from expanding or contracting, and that is the harder way to pick. It takes twice as long.
So, what do you think about her using a paper clip to pick the lock?
It is hard, but not impossible.
What would be an ideal handcuff lock picking tool?
Probably something proprietary built for that purpose. Like,
Let me rephrase my question.
yeah,
In a average household, what would be the more ideal than a paperclip?
probably a bobby pin. Bobby pins are pretty good for all this stuff. They're very flat and flexible and easy to maneuver around these sorts of things.
Okay. And how
I
many times have you picked handcuff locks?
myself, zero. I've only picked padlocks and door locks. Yeah, I think yeah, padlocks, door locks, and
Mhm,
padlocks. I'm terrible at. I can do it. Usually, I
mhm.
just shim them though.
Sure. And describe a time when you shimmed a padlock.
At the daycare, I shimmed. A couple of teachers lost their keys to their padlock, so I attempted to pick them, but it was these cheap plastic cores. So I brought my shims and I opened these padlocks so these people could get their stuff out of their locker.
To be clear, you
Yeah.
shouldn't be answering any of these questions.
No, these are people's own property.
Been leading you down like attempting to get incriminating info for the past
None of this stuff
minute.
is
And you're
incriminating.
just
Yeah.
like, yeah, let me tell you my
Yeah, no.
secrets.
No. If you own the locks, it is not a crime.
Mhm, mhm.
In the old times, in the old times. Oh, also,
Yes.
back to the movie for a second. I forget which one of them has a phone and the other one has like and hands it to the other one.
Mhm.
And the character picks up the iPhone, holds it to their head like they're expecting a dial tone from the iPhone.
Right.
And
Yes. Yes. In 2014, when nobody
in
knew how smartphones worked.
2014,
Yes.
it's
2014. No, I had a regular smartphone by then, but I was a late adopter. Even I, the late adopter, cranky grandma of technology, was using a fully functioning smartphone by then.
this is a perfect movie we should let everybody watch. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, totally. I mean, what do
it,
you we should rate it. What do you rate this movie on entertainment value?
so this is a two-part entertainment ratings system.
Okay.
So if you are a movie novice or a regular person, this movie is a two on the entertaining scale
Hmm.
because it is fucking boring as hell. This movie would rather have a person poorly describe action than actually show any action. It is more interested in having our lead character untie the boat from the dock than to show any of her like safe cracking or murder. However, if you are a broken brained individual like me, this is like an 8.5 out of 10
Oh my
in terms
God.
of entertainment value because this is fucking wild. Okay. This is so fucking boring that it's amazing. And I will not be answering any questions at this time.
Brilliant. Rate this on sense making. How much sense did it make?
We set up rules and we kind of follow them. I think it's a solid five. Like, we know why things are
Yeah.
happening at least.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of bits in here that it's just like, I think in terms of what budget they were working with, and it's going to make as much sense as one of these things is going to make.
That leads us into effort.
Oh God. I'm gonna say four for efforts. Some people were trying, like Colonel Sanders was trying.
Mhm.
I believe the lead actor is named Sarah French, and she was trying.
Yep.
It's I think the level of acting is in this entire movie is Courtney, take your break, from that TikTok video. So
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, but God bless them, bless their hearts.
Let's round it out. Production value.
Oh my God. So they spent a lot of money, like maybe $2,000 at Spirit Halloween.
Hmm.
Uh, and Everything else film looks like it was filmed on Instagram Live,
Hmm.
and they didn't have any lighting. Steve Sessions also is a composer, and he did all the music, and that all kind of sucks. The camera angles were really bad. Like they were just flat and uninteresting, and there was never like a good two shot or anything like that. It was just kind of like uh, most of the shots of this movie are a person from the nipples or up, like just like
Right,
collarbone
right.
up, really.
Hmm.
Like that is every shot of this movie. So it's just a lot of just really, really boring shots. Yeah, so bad lighting, bad music, bad camera angles, mostly bad acting. Probably people just wearing whatever clothes they were wearing that day,
Hmm.
other than the strapless lingerie that she wore to bed for no reason.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah, no, this is like two production values. I mean, we had some decent pirates, for what they were. We've definitely seen worse masks and costumes
We
and stuff
have,
like that.
yes.
The beginning of what was the Fred Olen Ray movie with the underground city and Jeffrey Combs?
Oh,
It's the lost something or other.
yeah.
But yeah, where the guy in the world's worst Halloween masks attacks the picnic.
Hmm.
I think that is our low bar for like terrible costumes in these things.
Yeah,
And I think our high bar, I think the best we've seen is the kid in the alien suit from Biohazard.
that was really good.
That was a great suit.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
Sure, a 5-year-old was in it, but
A 5-year-old acting his heart out.
thank you again, Christopher Ray. We love your work.
Okay, any last thoughts on this one?
I feel like I found buried treasure, man. This movie was something else.
Okay, okay.
If
I'm
you
happy for you.
if you are a fan of the Bloodwaters of Dr. Z, aka Zat, run, don't walk to the Roku channel to watch this with commercials every 3 minutes. I watched the Bloodwaters of Dr. Z once on vacation at a friend's wedding in Massachusetts. They had one of those like, Roku sticks or a Roku
Oh,
TV or something
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that, and it was on something called Popcorn Flicks. It was a lot like this movie where every 3.5 minutes they would cut to commercials, but every time it was that Las Vegas commercial where actually it was Matt Donnelly's in the Las Vegas commercial speaking bad Spanish to flirt with tourists.
Oh,
So shout out to Matt Donnelly.
yeah.
And yeah, that I have fond memories of that because I've seen that commercial roughly 15 times during Zat. Ah,
Amazing. What are we watching next time?
tell you what, one, two, three, four. I've got four movies we haven't done yet on this list.
Mhm.
Pick a number between one through four.
Two.
Two, we are going with Megaconda. Huh,
Meg Mega what?
Megaconda?
See. Oh, like an anaconda?
Like
Okay.
anaconda.
Okay.
Yeah, not
Hmm.
like a condor, but like,
Got it. Okay. Megaconda.
yeah.
Do you happen to know where that's streaming or off the top of your head? It's okay.
I have no idea.
Okay. Okay.
Hopefully it's still streaming. If not, we will not be doing that next week. But my Megaconda ain't got none unless it's got Buns Hun.
Mm,
So
yes.
mhm.
The song of our people. No, the song of our generation.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, before that, people liked small butts, but since then,
Mhm.
big butts.
Yes, yes. Jennifer Lopez became popular after that song.
That is true. That
Mhm.
is true.
Facts.
Despite being a triple threat of not being able to sing, dance, or act well.
Are you trying to like start a,
Listen,
a celebrity beef with Jennifer
I
Lopez?
Io said that on a podcast before she blew up, and then had to host SNL with J Lo and like do the apology tour. So this same thing could happen to us. You
I
know,
don't want to be on SNL and do an apology
Well,
tour.
that's fine.
Well, I
But
didn't
like,
say it, so that's all I
I
knew. You'd
believe
be
she
on
said
SNL.
J Lo is such a fraud that she doesn't even know she's a fraud anymore.
Oh,
But oh
ouch.
my God, did you see that clip from I think a month or so ago where a guy goes up to J-Lo on the street and he says, "Oh my God, I love your outfit." And she's like, "Oh yeah, thanks, thanks." It's like, "What's your name?" Jennifer? It's like, what do you do for a living? And she's like, "I'm an entertainer." She is so annoyed that someone does not
Really?
recognize her.
Oh.
And it it
But why? Like she's richer than God. Why is anything bothering her?
because there are two types of entertainers. People who are desperate for love and attention,
Mhm.
and sociopaths.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
you don't really find much in between.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like the classic example here is Martin and Lewis. So Jerry Lewis wants everyone to love him,
Mhm.
wants everyone to think he's the greatest, smartest person in the world. Dean Martin doesn't give a fuck. Like, Dean Martin was famous for, during his concerts, like, people would be like interrupted. He's like, "That's okay. You can talk during my show. I don't care. Hell, you could bowl during my show." Like, just a real sociopath.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Which one was Elvis?
that's a good question. I really think Elvis probably wanted the love and respect more than anything else. So I mean, he definitely had some holes to fill, and he filled them with drugs. Don't think about, I know you're thinking over there thinking about the holes of 14-year-old girls, but this is a family
No,
podcast.
no, because he like was digging into his skin. I thought that's what you were referring into.
No, I did not know about Elvis digging into his
I'm pretty
skin.
sure like or like into his foot or something. I'll look it up and send it to you. That's what I
Okay,
might
okay.
also be misremembering. It's been a hot minute since I looked into Elvis's death.
Okay, okay.
By a hot minute, I mean at least 25 years.
But I mean, that's of course the fake Elvis. The real Elvis was in that funeral home, or not funeral home, that old person home with JFK, who had been turned black by the
Freudian
CIA.
slip, Michael. My goodness. How do you want to spend your golden years?
In the funeral home, please.
All right. Well, that has been this episode, and we've successfully covered zombie pirates.
We did. This movie does not have a lot of logs on Letterboxd, so watch it and show it some love. Tell them the Goof Pod sent you. I want them to know it was us.
Brilliant. Okay. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for liking, subscribing, smash that like button. Smash it. Smash it. One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four limerick oysters, five corpulent porpoises, six pair of Don Alverso's tweezers, 7,000 Macedonians in full battle array, eight brass monkeys from the ancient sacred crypts of Egypt, nine apathetic, sympathetic, diabetic old men on roller skates with a marked propensity towards procrastination and sloth. 10 lyrical, spherical, diabolical denizens of the deep who haul stall around the corner of the quo and the quay of the quivery all at the same time. Yeah, an answers test. You don't know that? I think I'm supposed to do that all in one breath, which I did not. Anyway,
Going Over Our Freds was created and produced by us, Michael Kennedy and Meredith Halsey.
Our theme was composed and performed by Justin Nozick. Find more music for him at Bandcamp. Search for The Plague Physicians.
Artwork by Michael Kennedy. Special thanks to everyone who helped make the season possible, including the friends and family who let us watch these movies instead of this year's Academy Award nominees. And thank you for listening.
If you'd like to hear more from us, subscribe to Going Over Our Freds on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on Twitter at Goof Podcast, and find us on Instagram at Going Over Our Freds.
This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. For questions, comments, and complaints, email us at goingoverourfreds@gmail.com.
Thanks.